I want to increase the customer value and struggling to come up with ideas on how to get back on their properties more times than once every 3 years or whatever it is. I've come up with a couple tiered maintenance plans,
Okay.
kind of to sell as my idea was okay, we'll give you a 30-day warranty on this repair for free, or you can sign up on these other packages, and these packages would give you different warranties. Like one was a 12-month warranty if we can come out 4 times a year. One and it went all the way up to like a lifetime warranty, and all repairs are covered if we're out there like once a month to check your system over. But is that a good idea to implement something like that, or do you have some other suggestion?
So how are you selling? Like, okay, so you're doing a repair at the end of the job. Like, hey, if you want me to warranty this bad boy, I'll come every single month and everything will be covered. You will not have to have an unexpected bill ever. Is that kind of the pitch there?
That would be the pitch, yes.
And how
Yep.
did that go? Like, what's the
Oh,
close rate?
I
What's the hit
haven't
rate on that?
implemented it yet. I want to get. I'm working with my lawyer on the contracts right now to get
Okay.
everything set.
Okay. And okay, so
That's
first
kind
off,
of
I
a
think
goal
it's
for this coming year.
okay, fantastic. If you did that one thing this year, we're off to the races. Because this is the thing. There's three different types of revenue. There's one-time jobs, which I'm glad you've stayed clear of. There is reoccurring jobs. And that's usually repairs of any sort because it happens periodically, but not
Right.
consistently. And then recurring revenue, which is you're on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annual basis.
Yeah.
So I like the shift towards recurring, like you're doing. I really, really think that's a good move. Um, I would not overthink this in terms of contracts.
Right.
Like I personally, I wouldn't have a lawyer look at it. I would have it, put up a ChatGPT. I wouldn't even worry about that because you're actually collecting the revenue before the problem exists.
Okay.
So this is what I would propose. And again, I'm not like the best at irrigation. We did a little bit. I'm not the best, but this is what I would recommend. Um, I would do an inspection at the very beginning. I would give
Yes.
them what their repair is going to be.
Right.
I would say, Mr. Jones, this repair can cost you two different prices. One, it can cost you $2,000, right? I'll repair this and we're good to go. Or it's going to cost you 1,200. And then what I'm going to do is going to put you on a monthly visit. And I'm going to be coming and it's going to be $99 per month, for example. And I'm going to inspect everything. I'm going to tweak any of the nozzle. You have a whole list of stuff you're going to do,
Right.
knowing that
Right.
you're going to do all of it in a matter of 5 minutes.
Hmm.
That's one way to do it. And that is what you're going to do is you're actually going to incentivize maintenance. The other
Right.
way is you actually go the opposite, which is you charge a higher price and then you give a warranty. I would do lifetime as the only option because it just makes the most sense to people. And
Okay.
then just tie the lifetime warranty to say, hey, we need to come for a quarterly inspection. And as long as we do that and you're on that program,
Okay.
everything is covered forever. And the reason
Right.
you can say forever, Reed, is because people move their houses every 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And furthermore, if you do services and you come for monthly basis or quarterly basis, and you've made $1,000 a year on them, and that's what I'd be trying to shoot for, is like how much am I making per year from them, and then
Right.
just backtracking and like, okay, I could replace their whole system every 8 to 10 years if I really had to.
Yeah.
And so yeah, now it just becomes an annuity.
Okay.
And so I would be heavily incentivizing current customers in your database, be like, hey, we now have this program. There will be no unexpected bills. You never will have to charge, if you're tired of paying $800 or $1,000 because a pipe burst, forget that. Pay $199 a month, and you will never have to think about your irrigation again. I will turn things on. I will adjust things. I will repair things. I will maintain things. I will blow it
Right.
up. I will start it off. You will not have to think about it. And then
Yeah.
I would just pitch that monthly service across the board. And I would be very much willing to, Read, if I was you, take the risk of even repairing a job and eating the cost of goods sold in order to get them onto a recurring maintenance package. So let's say there's a job you'd usually charge $500 for. I would just,
Hmm.
instead of saying, hey, it's $500, I just, hey, why don't you just get on our $199 a month plan? And if you're on that, then everything's covered and the first repair is for free.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And then I think the thing that you could do in terms of flexibility, if you were really concerned about like a faulty system, is on your initial inspection, bake that into the price that you offer them. So you could say, hey, this one's messed up. This is like a very complicated system. I know there's gonna be a lot of repairs. Okay, this one might be $299. There's 8 different sections and it's all over the place, a big sprawling area. So like you can
Right.
kind of customize it. But the nice thing is then you have a package that you can go sell. And I would do instant pricing on your website Like
Mhm.
have them sign up a form. Here's the pricing. Here's what's going to cost you. You could do it by zone if you really wanted to, but most people don't know their zones. Just like
Right. Yeah.
large, small, and medium. Which one
Yeah.
looks like your property? It's price per month.
Right. I have an inspection sheet that I do when I go out to a property. It's broken up by colors, and then like it has like a system health report. It gives how many zones, where each thing is located, what it covers, and then on the flip side of it, there's the recommended repairs that need to be done, and I can put the pricing and all that and everything on it. And so I built my maintenance packages kind of based off of that. So it was kind of by the zone. It was a flat fee plus so much per zone.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, it was I think it was a
Four,
four times a
four.
year, and then there was a quarterly thing, and then the 12 months
Yeah.
a monthly package for that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but
so
I like
I'm a
those
big fan
ideas.
of this. I'd simplify your pricing. I'd simplify your contract. I wouldn't make it a big long contract.
Right.
I'd
Okay.
make instant pricing from your website. I'd do door hangers in the
Yeah.
spring.
I had it
Or when Go ahead.
marked up in 4 columns.
Let's go. Let's
So it
go.
fit on like an 8.5 by 11. I wanted to laminate it and have it
Yeah.
with me in my folder. And I could say, hey, here's these 4 packages that you could choose from for your warranty. And it was all just like right there, easy to
Yep.
see.
And I would put it on your website too, so they can literally click on the
Yes.
one they want and they check out. So even
That
if you
is
did a
definitely something I'm going to implement.
you could take like a jot form, like it's like, I
Mhm.
think it's like $8 a month. It's very customizable how you do the design.
Okay.
Integrate that directly with the Zapier into Copilot. So they fill it out, they click on the button they want, it checks them out, and they're in your system. I
Awesome.
would eat the cost if I was you of like the being off by a few dollars, because
Yeah.
there will also be people that click on a large property when really they're a medium, or they'll click on medium when they're really a small property, but they think
Mhm.
they're average compared to their neighbors. And so the actual accuracy of your estimates will usually even out with instant pricing, because there will be customers that accept a higher price and they're willing to do it because they don't want to talk to you. They just want
Right.
it taken care of. And they don't
Cool.
want 5 guys to come out and dink around and dig holes in their yard. They just want
Yeah.
the problem taken care of and they're willing to pay for it. They want a
Awesome.
flat monthly rate and they don't have to think about it again.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks.
You got it. Anyone else? Feel free just to
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kyle.
So,
I saw you last week.
yeah. Well, I think
Let's
it was
go.
maybe 2
2
weeks
weeks
ago.
ago?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry, it's blurry.
All right. So, the reason I named my company Magnolia Lawn and Garden is because I'm this year, this is my second year in business, going into my second year. I'm going to be doing building like raised garden beds, stuff like that. I'm trying to differentiate myself from the landscape people that are doing rock beds, flower beds, that kind of stuff. And plus, I like horticulture and
Cool.
growing some of your own foods and stuff like that. The problem I'm having is I want to do it all. I want to build the huge beds. I want to build the little beds. I want to build the in-ground beds and the raised beds and the uh, uh, winter bed. I'm blanking right now, but you know what I'm saying. Do you have any advice on that? I'm a one-man team.
I don't know, maybe take some melatonin at night, take a good rest, sleep a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
get any sleep.
do you want me to convince you to
I've
do
actually been
less
on my roof
beds?
all
Is
day.
that oh really?
Yeah.
So is it a matter of that by having all these beds you can't systematize the business?
I think it's just a matter of uh of God. I've always been told to niche down,
Yeah.
really niche down. Like, so I feel like I should choose like raised beds or in-ground beds, and that's all I do.
Okay, so how much of your revenue last year came from raised beds, percentage wise?
I didn't do any last year. Last year,
Yeah.
I didn't get into the business till June last year, so I didn't. It was everything I could do to get the little customers that I did get.
So the
Uh,
customers you got last year, where did that revenue come from?
Mowing, cleanups, stuff like that.
Got it. So you just are passionate about the beds and you want to get into it, but you have not actually done these services for money yet.
Right. I'm actually building my own right now, and I'm going to use that as my marketing.
Got it. So I would not abandon the money that's being given to you. Like people are wanting to give you money for a service, I'd continue doing that. If you're passionate about the beds, cool, do your own, like you said, do the marketing, try to upsell your customers, but don't force the market into something that they might not want. We have no evidence that a single person in your market wants raised beds. Now, is there potentially? I would agree that there probably is, but we don't have any proof. I just
Right.
know that people have paid you money to mow their grass. And so I
Yeah.
would stick to that.
I'm
then
not
I would,
abandoning that. That's not what I'm
yeah,
not.
cool. And then it's just a matter of like, hey, I'm gonna try to upsell my existing mowing customers into this bed thing. And if the bed thing starts becoming 20% of revenue, 25% of revenue, 30% of revenue, there might be a day you're like, all right, I'm gonna axe this whole mowing thing and just go all in on the raised bed thing. But I am concerned that we are trying to make a pivot in the business when we don't even know what that looks like, right? So I would keep doing your mowing. I'd look at your mowing as your customer acquisition vehicle. Because if you get a mowing customer, the likelihood that they'll have you do raised beds is probably 10 to 100 times more than if you go after cold traffic.
Right.
And if you do a killer good job at your house and the few jobs that you pick up for raised beds, and then you present those to your customers they already know, like, and trust you, the likelihood you'll be able to sell them on it much higher. And so I would look at your mowing as your customer acquisition vehicle, knowing that everyone needs that service, and then refine your upsell process of when and how you sell your customers these other options. And I'd take down to 3, right? So if you have raised beds, in-ground beds, or whatever, it's like I would narrow that down and then just be like, here are my 3 options. I know at these periods of time in the year, I'm slower on mowing and these other services. I'm going to pitch a segment of my customers on these other services at these periods of time.
Okay. I guess I didn't. I guess I should have clarified that. That is kind of my goal. Like in the wintertime, building this for my existing customer base. I do have a couple customers that I have told them that I will be offering this following year, and they said, "Oh, that's awesome! I would love to have you do maybe a small one or medium sized one for me." But I'm trying to stay away from the traditional like leaf leaf mulching and stuff like that during the wintertime and have more project based passionate work
Yeah.
to do in the wintertime and fall.
Yeah, no, it sounds good to me. It's a function of you choosing that business model. It's going to be harder to scale because like it's a harder service to install those compared to say mowing. But
Yeah.
right now you're solo. You got to fill in the winter. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it's way out of like it's not too diversified either. By the way, like beds are beds. Like I thought you were gonna be like I'm the bed guy, and I'd be like I'm so down with that. And you could make some really awesome jokes and marketing around that. But I don't think it's too like too wide. You're the bed guy during the winter and you're mowing during the summer, spring, fall, right? Like I think a lot of times we think we have a seasonality problem when in reality we have an offer problem. Like during the winter, you are going to be the beds guy. During the spring, summer, and fall, you are the mowing guy,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you,
Cool.
Mike.
You got it, man. Anyone else?
Hey, Mike, this is Brandon from Orange County, California. So I want to make sure that I am taking the proper steps. So I'm a one-man show, just like the last guy, and I'm not getting burnt out about the business. My body is getting burnt out about getting on the roofs of 3-story buildings to clean solar panels or power wash or anything like that. I was hit and run over by a truck. I broke every bone. I was in a motorcycle accident. My body just can't take it anymore. And unfortunately, I'm in California, which means I also can't hire the work without workman's comp insurance that I need in order to keep the business going. So what I'm planning on doing is taking a detour out of my business. I'm very good at sales. I love doing sales. I've always placed in the top 5% of any industry that I was in. So I want to get back into sales, make 15, 20K a month doing that, and then save my money and in August pump all of it into Christmas lighting, Christmas equipment, advertising, workman's comp insurance, and staffing. And then use that income to basically afford the rest of the business moving forward. So instead of doing the grind until I'm basically burnt out physically and I can't do it anymore, I can't keep up with my kids or anything like that, just kind of take it back a bit and then really get into gear in August. What do you think that that's the right move I should do?
So just so I'm clear, right now, are you cleaning roofs or building roofs, or are you fixing solar panels?
I do exterior cleaning, so windows, gutters, solar panels, all of that.
Got it. So
So I was just taking down lights and I noticed that the guy's solar panels were filthy a couple of days ago, so I did them as well. And so I'm on a roof a lot.
Got
And
it.
not too long ago, I had a client where they got shoddy work, and the tiles, they never nailed down the tiles, the shingles, and they slipped out from underneath me, and I fell. And so it jacked up my ribs. So it's like my body just can't take it anymore.
I got you. So when you're doing under 200,000 annual revenue in the business, you're
Mhm.
going to have mostly physical stress.
Yes.
So the way around that is to grow the business so that you do not have to work in the business. Now, I like the strategy from a financial like cushion perspective of, hey, I'm going to go get more cash. So when I jump into this business, I can scale it to the point that I'll be hiring people right away. Now, the alternative to this notion is that if you can create $200,000 a year in income by being a salesperson for someone else, I can guarantee you you're generating between $500,000 and $1 million of revenue for that person, regardless of what you're selling. And
Mhm.
so my inclination is, why not just become a salesperson for your own business? Go ahead and bite the bullet in terms of the workers' comp. But if you can produce $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 worth of sales by you knocking on doors and generating leads, I happen to believe you'll be able to afford the workers' comp. And so,
Okay.
like, it comes down to whether or not you want to bet on yourself or if you want to take a more of the conservative approach. The conservative approach is what you said, and I'm not opposed to it, especially when you have a family and things like you got to do what you got to do. But I would also say that if you actually can create $20,000 a month for yourself as a salesperson, it means you're generating somebody $600,000 to $1 million. And I
Mhm.
genuinely believe if you took that same skill and applied it to your own business and you got so many leads, now it's like, well, I got to hire someone. Now my costs go because of workers' comp. Great. We have a $600,000 business and we're going to pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month on workers' comp. Who cares? We will increase prices because we have so many leads coming in. So it comes down to your confidence in that skill. If you have that confidence that I will sell anything to anybody, I would just go do it yourself because you'll build a $600,000 business with equity instead of going $200,000 and getting half of it chopped off to the government in California. And so it's a betting game. Like, do you bet on
Mhm.
yourself with that sales skill, or do you take that skill, go get the cash, and then come back in a year? And then I would also be questioning, why are we going into Christmas lights when we already have this other thing that we know what to do, which is the exterior cleaning? Like, that's a very seasonal business. Now maybe it complements itself. So maybe you do the cleaning and then you do like Christmas lights during the 2 or 3 months during October, November, December. But like I would be hesitant to say that only those months am I going to work, because now your workers' comp is going to be year round and you have 3 months of revenue. Very, very seasonal.
Well, the only reason why I was thinking of Christmas is I've done it the last few years. The only reason why I didn't hit six figures in Christmas lighting alone this year, on Halloween, I rolled my ankle in a neighborhood with my son, and I'm still my ankle is still jacked up. So being on roofs, putting up lights, I've taken a laid back approach on that because the very first house that I was on, the second story of a steep incline, my ankle couldn't take it. And I was doing everything on one foot.
All right,
And
Brandon, we
so
have established that you are accident prone. We need to get you off of the ladders and off of roofs. So in order to do that, we need you to focus on the thing that it seems that you're better at, which is sales. So I would highly recommend you spending, like, you can do this in 1 week, by the way. If you have enough cash to hold your breath for 1 week, I would do this. All you're going to do is door knock, and you're going to do door hangers for 1 week. And if
Mhm.
in that 1 week you're able to get 3 weeks worth of work scheduled, so like, okay, so that's, for example, February 1st, we're hopping in for 1 week. We're just doing door to door sales and door knocking. I'm going to be booking the second, third, and fourth week of January, and I'm going to hire somebody to start on that day. Now, there's a huge gamble on yourself, and it
Yeah.
comes down to your confidence and your ability to sell. And so I think only you know whether or not you could actually do this and actually sell enough leads to fill the schedule and then hire someone. But if you can, I think that's the more aggressive approach. And then the secondarily, it's like to do what you just said. If you can make $200,000 a year being a salesperson, there's no reason to have a business that is $200,000 in annual revenue
Mhm. Yeah.
and roll your ankle and climb on ladders and roofs. So I would really say, like, either go get the job because you crush it there. If you can make 15 to 20 grand a month, do that as income, or take that skill, build a $600,000 to $800,000 business because you just focus on sales, and then get people to do the roof and ladder climbing for you, because obviously you're getting hurt doing it, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Cool. Awesome, man. Good
All
luck
right. I
to you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Anyone else, feel free to unmute yourself. No,
Got
no,
another
everyone
question
jump.
for you, Mike.
Go ahead, Reed. Let's go. This is a small
All right.
group today. Let's go.
Yeah. We're kind of using this jump start with Copilot as kind of our business turnaround. I didn't charge enough for the first 3 quarters of this year. And so profits were way down, et cetera. We have very little cash on hand, et cetera. I would love, I mean, I'm doing probably about roughly 150,000 a year. But it is not very profitable at all. I would love to make it 250,000 by this time next year, or by the end of this year. So my question is, do I stay solo this year and work on my finances, get everything straight? Or do I go ahead, I hire somebody, get a technician, train them up to do the repairs and such, and have multiple repairs going per day, or just stay by myself for another year?
I could have answered this question, but your camera is messing up, so I can't see. I'm guessing, is your wife next to you?
Yeah, she is. Yes.
Hi.
Yeah. See, I would have been trying to read your body language to that question, but I couldn't because the black going over your face. Because what I answered, the answer to this question is, what does she think?
I don't know.
Okay.
I truly don't know.
Okay. And so right now, Reed, you're doing all the work. You're doing 125,000 in revenue. You're trying to get to 250. Is that kind of like the benchmark? Your question though is, do I hire someone now and go for it, or do I play it more conservatively, do it solo, stack up some cash for a few years, and then jump later on?
Correct.
Got it. What are you charging per hour right now?
I'm flat rate right now, based on now $200 an hour.
How many customers are in your database inside Copilot?
I'm working on trying to get everything out of my Angie, but in Copilot, I have 240 something, but I have close to 800 in Angie that I'm trying to get out of there right now.
Like Angie's List? Is that what you're sorting them? Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we need to do that.
Okay, we have a love-hate relationship.
Oh man, I know. Do you have a website?
Angie, what's that?
Do you have a website?
I do. Yes.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay.
Yep. That was one thing I did this year, was to go with lawn care web design.
Okay. Cool. I knew I knew the name. Okay. All right. Give me a second. If you don't mind me asking, what's your cash on hand right now?
Around 1,000.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I've made a lot of mistakes.
That's okay.
I didn't raise my prices in time to recover.
We've learned a lot over the last year.
Good. So that's hey, there are people that are negative big time. So let's I'm assuming there's not tons of debt on the business right now.
We have a truck and there's like $8 grand.
Okay. All right. Hey, we've seen worse. You're okay. So I would say there's enough financial stress to take this slower. Adding more employees, you will grow the business faster, but your margins are going to collapse. Right. So first off, finding someone that can do your repairs are very difficult in the repairs side of things. Your insurance also is impacted because they will make mistakes. And so if I would I would go all in on this recurring maintenance strategy. Right. Because right now you're doing on average $10,000 a month. You can replace your revenue. If let's just say we did 199 packages, you need 50 people a month to replace your current income. Yeah. And so what I would do if I was personally you, is it your slow season right now?
Yes.
I would go door to door. I would talk to every single one of your 200 people in your database. And ideally, when you get to 800, I would probably do some sort of email thing and then text through Copilot. I would talk to every single person and get them on the 199. Right. Because you need 50. And I would imagine out of the 200 in the past year, you've probably worked on maybe 100 of them. And I would imagine that your average ticket is between $500 and $700.
Roughly, yeah. Yep.
And so you can convince people to spend $199 a month, or whatever you think you can come up with in terms of pricing, right?
No, I'm not afraid of that $199.
What you might even do, Reed, is to test your pricing, is talk to your top 10 customers and be like, if I offered this service, what would you be willing to pay?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
And these are people that probably know you. They've worked with you a long time. You do repairs all the time. Hey, if I offered this, what would you be willing to pay? Now, keep in mind, willing to pay and actually paying very different things, right? Yeah. And so keep that in mind, but it at least would let you gauge it so that you have the confidence to then go pitch it to every single customer. Like I'm talking like if you have less than 1,000 customers, you can knock on every one of their doors. It's just a matter of time. And so if there's 200 that are say warm in the past 12 to 16 months, I would knock on every person's door. I would have the layout thing that we talked about. I'd have that. I'd simplify it more. I'd go down to 2 options. One
Okay.
is like the express and one is like the basic, like whatever you want to call it. And it is super simplified. It's super basic. And the whole objective is sell 50 people a 199 package. You will
Right.
replace your current income. And then once you have that, that's steady income, you know it's coming in, it's going to cover the personal bills, and you're in a better spot to then know that when you go hire someone, you have those bills paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the challenging part about switching to recurring revenue is you have less cash upfront collected. So the
Right.
challenging part with this is like when I say eat the cost of the $400, $500 invoice and get them signed up at a 199, that you can't do that when you have $1,000 in the bank. So this changes our strategy to we keep doing what we're currently doing, and
Mhm.
on the afternoons, evenings, and weekends, we're knocking on people's doors and upselling them into this package. And I'm going to put a thermometer on the wall with up to 50, which is the goal of these service packages that we have sold. When we hit 50, we get an employee. Because now we know we have $10,000 a month in recurring revenue that will not go away, and I'm
Right.
more confident to take a hit on my revenue profit margins, because
Yeah.
you will go from 60-70% margins down to 20 to 30% as soon as you get an employee.
Yeah.
Alternatively, what happens, Reed, is you get the 50, you're basically maxed out now, just doing those inspections and doing the repairs required to maintain those contracts, and then you just raise prices. All right, now it's $249, and you just gave yourself a $4,000 a month raise.
Cool.
Yeah. Best of luck to you. I know it's a scary time with that low of cash, but like I genuinely believe I'd go all in on recurring. I would make that the number one benchmark. I would simplify your contract. I would simplify the offer down to 2, maybe 3 things. Don't worry about
Right.
a contract with a lawyer and all the rest of it. What are you gonna do? Take someone over court over 199? Like it's just not gonna happen.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And so, well, what if there's a big, massive repair issue? Like you supply the labor. So like even if it was a $2,000 mistake, you'd have to work a weekend.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
You
Cool.
got this.
Thanks.
You guys are gonna
Thank
crush
you.
it. Let's go. Anyone else? Feel free before we wrap things up. Man, you're wanting me to get into the irrigation business. Just talking about that, dude. Let's go.
It's been a lot of fun. I grew up doing this with dad. I mean, this is my
Oh, well.
28th year of working in the green industry.
Good
We had
stuff.
a landscape business together, and
Mhm.
we split off in 22 and just decided they would take the landscaping, I'd take the irrigation.
Wow.
And it's been a lot of learning. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
growing. So we're excited.
Yeah, I would say you have a lot of excess capacity. Because if you do the math on your $200 per hour, it means that on average you're doing about 12 to 14 hours of work a week. And so what that tells me is I don't believe you're only working 15 hours a week. I know there's like all this other stuff around the work
Yeah.
itself, but that
Yeah.
can become much more efficient. I'd be shooting for 30 budget hours or 30 like billable hours per 40-hour week. 75% efficiency.
Yeah.
And so I genuinely believe you can double the business and get to 250 just by yourself. The reason I can do that is like 199, if you're charging that per hour, or $200 an hour, that's only 1,000 hours. Let's call it 1,250 hours that you have to bill out every year.
Yeah.
So you can get to 250 by yourself, 100%. It'll just be selling enough work so that there's all back to back to back and not all the in between stuff of here's an estimate and then like doing a walkthrough and visiting them again. Like that's killing you because right now your efficiency is like probably around 30%.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
went down around
probably.
like 60 to 70 at least. So you can
Yeah.
double the revenue of the business. You can absolutely get there, but focus on the recurring side and not having all this drop hat invoice here and then go and talk to the customer again and then jibber jabber for 20 minutes. You're in and out. You have them on the schedule. They get notifications that you're coming. They get notifications when you leave. You take a picture of your of your sheet that has an inspection report. They get in their client portal. Like you got it.
Right. Yeah. So in staying with what I'm doing, I charge a $200 service fee plus the flat rate on whatever repairs I do. My $200 service fee covers a 45-minute consultation, so to speak. That's where we're doing the walk around, et cetera. And then I charge for that system audit. I do a per zone price on the system audit thing. I was planning on going with a 10% raise across the board on all the repairs prices, beginning in March, for any repairs that I do coming up in the springtime, et cetera. Because right now we're basically just dead. I was planning on going ahead and raising up those prices. Like I said, I've been doing it for 28 years now. I kind of know how long it takes me to fix a 1-inch line. So I just kind of averaged that out, and I put like an hour and a half on it, and I charge like $300. to
Right.
repair the 1-inch line. So do that price increase or stay where I'm at plus the other.
Let me try this out. So
Okay.
you charge $200 on initial upfront thing.
Right.
Let's say you have 100 new customers a year. It's 20 grand.
Right.
So is it safe to say that like 15% of your revenue comes from that $200 initial invoice?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. So like 15
Yeah.
or 20,000 a year. Okay,
Roughly,
this is
yeah.
radical. I'm not saying you should do it. I don't have enough insights on your numbers. But I would consider not charging that. I would consider saying, "Hey, this is what it's a $199 per month. You pay me $199, I'm coming to your service and I am going to service for the month. On that first visit, I'm going to give you the list of the repairs and they're optional if you want to get them done, and I'll service everything but those things if you don't fix them."
Right.
So it's like, "Hey, my initial consults and audits are free, but you just have to be on a maintenance package." So it's
Right.
$199 a month. I come, I'm going to be there. I'm going to do an audit. I'm going to tell you, these are all the things that are broken. And if you don't fix them, that's fine. I'm just not going to maintain them. Like, I'm not responsible for these.
Right.
And then what's likely going to happen, you're going to upsell them to a $500 or $600 job. And then they're going to stay on the $199. And the reason you use it as leverage is say, hey, to avoid this $600, $800, $1,000 issue in the future and having to turn it on and adjust it and all this painful points. You just go through, like, as they're walking around the property. Oh, this one's messed up. Oh, yeah, it always blowing. You just go all their pain points. Don't worry about this again. It's $199 a month. And Mr. Jones, that's the equivalent of like one repair a year.
Yeah.
Why don't you just have us on the package? I'll fix these things and then we'll get you on the package.
Yeah.
And then there is no because right now what you're selling the initial audit. That's like the overcome when someone calls.
Yep.
Just be like, oh no, the audit is completely free. We do maintenance packages, but it's completely free to come out. Especially when it's dead. Like if it's dead, like I just go get in front of them and get ready to sell.
Right. Cool. Yeah. I like that.
Let's go. Good stuff. Anyone else have a question before we bounce off? Go ahead, Michael.
I do. Yeah. So we did about 280,000 this year, and I have 2 employees. I did not do a whole lot of the physical work, and I'm really good at sales and I'm really good at the physical work. But the problem with, like, I've kind of done more of the admin, which needs to be done with the 280,000. Just talking with clients, doing the back end log and everything. The problem is that my mental health is not the best while I'm in the office and everything. I am more of a very physical, like, work kind of guy. And so it's been really tough this year, and I've started to slip back into, like, not doing so well in the office. I find myself wasting time, and it's hard because I just had a daughter and she's very distracting, and I work at home. And I can't rent an office because we don't make enough money for that because I live in Colorado and it's very expensive out here.
Yeah. Cool. So first off, I can see you're sitting next to a window. Very cool.
Yep.
Have you got a walking desk or a walking treadmill and a standing desk?
I don't.
I highly recommend. Highly recommend.
All
So
right.
walking treadmill is going to cost you $120, and then go on to 1 second. See if I can get the Flex I Spot. It's $220. Yep. It's standing desk. If you spend that $350, like literally it'll be game changer for you. Like you'll be able to walk and stand up, and you will walk 10 miles in a day and feel completely exhausted physically, and it'll help with the mental side.
Right. Yeah, and that's because I found myself wanting to get back into the physical, but I know to grow, I got to stay in the office.
Yeah, and I think there's a balance too, right? Like at 270, 280, where you're at now, if you're saying you're going to stay there, I would probably say you could be in the field for 25 to 30% of your day. Or say 2 days a week in the office, 3 days a week out in the field. So like for us, for example, until my manager is around 700,000-800,000 in revenue, they're working the field at least some part of the time. And so I don't think I'm opposed to that, by the way. So if you're going to stay around 270, 280, 300, 350, now if you're trying to go to 6, 7, 800, yes, you'll probably need to do more sales, admin, et cetera. But if you're holding it over your head, like I can't go in the field because it's going to slow the business growth down, I would take a step back at your size and reconsider that, especially if it's going to help with mentally. If you just said, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm in the office, Tuesday, Thursday, I'm going to go out in the field. Would that be like, do you have that much admin to actually do every day though, full time?
So I am actually in the field somewhat because we're a lawn and tree care company. So I'm an arborist, so I'm the one climbing trees and cutting them down and stuff. I haven't been able to hire anyone for that because it's a highly skilled
Technical.
job, and so
Yep.
it's hard to hire someone for that. So I still do that about 2 times a week, sometimes once a week.
Okay.
But yeah, I do a lot of sales. I like deal with all the taxes, and other stuff like that, all the admin side and organizing and planning, and it's gotten better, but it's also like difficult because sometimes like I get distracted when I'm at home, and so it's
Totally.
very like
That's
I'm
fine.
not as efficient as I think office person would, but I can't hire an office person yet.
Good news. Good news. You cutting trees makes you more money than hiring someone to do admin work. What I mean by that is the constraint to fix this is sell more tree jobs because it gets you outside and it allows you to afford someone to do $15 and $20 per hour tasks that you could otherwise be making $100 an hour or $200 up in a tree.
Mhm.
That is the constraint. Like I would be trying to get you out of the office. As much as I want you at a standing desk and walking on a treadmill, let's go. As much as I want that, and I think it would help. Instead of doing $20 to $25 per hour tasks, I want you to go sell more tree jobs so that you can get in a tree and make $200 an hour and have someone else back of the office doing what they are good at and they enjoy doing and they don't have
Mhm.
the same struggles you have on the admin side.
Okay. But what if I want to grow because like I'm trying to grow this to be about like a a 2, 3, 4 million dollar business. So
We'll
eventually I'm
cross that
gonna
bridge
have
when we
to
get there.
stop
But
working.
to get there though, we need to get past 500,000. And what will get you past 500,000 is getting an admin person that does good admin and you doing more
Mhm.
of revenue producing work at $200 an hour.
Okay.
And then when we do that enough, we will then have the money to hire that person full time. We will have the money to get an operations person, and then we grow to 1 million, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right? And kudos to you for being so vulnerable. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Cool. You got it.